What's up, everybody? You know what it is. Are You the One? After show finale. Hail Mary worked. 11 beams. It's a celebration, and Hennessy is in the house. Let's get it.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
This is nice. Well, I just came back from Hawaii.
It's gonna make me want to go to Hawaii. I ain't never been.
You never been to Hawaii?
Okay.
It was beautiful.
Wish I could see y'all.
So this is the perfect match song.
Oh, they recorded it?
Yeah, they recorded it. Yeah, this is Tyler, and then E Money. Turn it up, yeah.
This sounds so good.
Okay.
There we go. There we go. Hey, this makes you want to go
Look
ahead.
at Mike.
Shout out to season 6 for making it happen. I can't believe it. We just got to give it up for him. Yeah, give it up for him. Oh my gosh, I would not have thought. I don't think anybody. I don't think y'all thought.
Plot twist.
Yeah, for real. Like this.
You would have thought that shit was like rigged. Like
Yeah.
someone told y'all, right?
That was
I've been getting like
crazy.
messages just about it.
I feel like I've been saying since week 1 that I thought that they were going to win it. So
Yeah.
I'm just saying, rewind it back.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, run it back.
Run it back. Let me see that and see.
I was like, I don't know about that.
Right.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy, Uncle Lem Gonsalves, because I got my uncle outfit on. You can find me on social media at the Poet Saint All Day Every Day. Next to me is Fire, a.k.a. Sensei Don't Play. What up?
What it do, guys? This season was amazing. You know, it had its ups and a lot of lows, but they won. So props to them. It was a great season. Lots to talk about.
Lots to talk about. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, the beautiful, the talented, the wonderful Melody Rose.
Yeah, I be loving your intros, right?
I try.
What's going on, guys? You already know you can follow me everywhere at Melody_Rose.
And the Filipino king himself, you know what it is, my boy, Nino Llanera.
What's good, y'all? Welcome to Mr. Gonsalves' neighborhood here on AfterBuzz TV.
Happening.
It's your boy, Nino. You can catch me at Nino Llanera on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, all that good stuff. Follow me from behind the scenes here at AfterBuzz and everything else.
Yeah. It's guest time. It's guest time. It's guest time. Ladies and gentlemen, you know how we do. She's been here before. She came back by popular demand. Ladies and gentlemen, Keyana in the house. Yes. Looking lovely.
Thank
The rips everywhere. I love how, like we mentioned earlier, we're all kind of coordinating.
Yeah.
So like the fall edition of AfterBuzz, you know, it's really good. It's really good. I love it.
We ran over our clothes.
Yeah, I know, like reindeer, Rudolph, and all that stuff. And just skinned his knees. Ladies and gentlemen, first time ever in the AfterBuzz studios. I don't know why we waited so long. Maybe because he just got on the show. I'm just saying. But ladies and gentlemen, your boy Shad is in the house.
Hey,
what up, Shad? The SC shirts. I see you.
Yes.
Looking like he just got his braces off. Brother got the Colgate smile.
Okay.
I see it.
Crest Colgate, call
I
me.
see. You know what I'm saying?
You really
Colgate.
would do so great for Colgate.
Dude,
Hey,
for real.
Crest Colgate, give me a call.
Yeah.
I'm your guy.
Holler at him right
You
now.
know-
Non-photoshopped right here. It's all natural.
And over Skype, you know, in the Skype universe, we tried to get her last week. We had some technical difficulties, a.k.a. she didn't know how to use her joint. But ladies and gentlemen, she's on Skype with us. Looking amazing. It is Zoe.
Yay!
I wish I could see you.
I know. We can see you, though.
Yes. That's all that matters.
Yes. She also looks kind of fall-ish a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see it. It's
I
like-
got some plans.
yeah,
Everything.
I see it.
Everything did.
So,
holidays,
first
y'all.
order of business, you guys won. Like, you guys won. Like, for real, legitimate. Yeah, I can't believe it. So, Zoe, we're going to start with you. Just when that 11th being came up and you guys just erupted, and it was crazy. I mean, there was tears, there was, like, laughter. Like, everybody was joyous. Give me your first reaction.
I think that I accounted for like 98% of the tears that were shed on that fucking stage. Oh my God. I cannot believe it. Like, seriously, even while I was on stage, I for real thought that we were losing. I looked at Anthony and Alexis and I was like, well, we had a snowball shot now, but now it's just gone. But as soon as he won, it was just like, I can't believe it. It was amazing. It's like, I'm buying a car. I'm leaving Scranton forever. Never going back there.
Yeah.
So just absolute happiness. It was unreal.
Wow.
What about you, Keyana?
Honestly, I was pretty salty.
Salty?
You know, I ran around. I gave everyone their rounds. I was like, yeah, we did it. But by the way, bitches, I just want to let you know that week 2, I saved y'all from a blackout. So,
okay.
Like, told y'all. That's all I want to say.
There was one beam, and that was you.
Yeah, and everyone literally gave me shit for, like, 2 weeks about picking Michael. They're like, why would you pick him? He says he doesn't want you. And I'm like, okay, well, this show isn't called, like, follow what you think might be your match. It's called follow your heart. So that's what I did.
Yes, and you got that one beam.
Wow.
Okay.
I just now realized that.
I saved everyone $500,000.
Yeah.
So.
Kiana's gut feeling is on point.
Right?
On
My gut feeling point game is so strong.
They need to give you like some more of their money. I'm just saying, like give you a percentage. Or
I'm like about to start my
finder's
Venmo.
fee.
Like y'all can just hit me up there.
Yeah, exactly. Shad, what about you?
So to add to that, it was either week 4 or 5. We only got one beam. That's when Audrey and Michael were together the strongest. And your boy saved us from that blackout with that one beam.
Oh, so you got 2 heroes on the couch.
Oh,
I got
Heroes
Venmo,
Week.
I got
Okay.
PayPal, I got Apple Pay. You guys can just give me cash. But as far as your question for us winning, it was such a good feeling. Not only because of the money, because like down the road in life, we can always make more money.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So it wasn't just the money, but just to have our family all come together, and it made us so much closer that we actually won. And it's such a cohesive group now that we all have that experience. And literally every girl in that house is my sister, every guy is my brother for the rest of our lives, and we're just one big family now. So it was just the best feeling in the world.
Okay,
I
working
know.
like it was like a 10-season like
This
TV
okay.
show. My
Not
bad,
only does he
alright.
Colgate, like somebody need to call him like
Hallmark.
Hallmark or
Oh,
like.
we did say you should make some good Hallmark.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we did say that on
Really?
an episode. Yeah.
Because you have like little clever lines
Like, he doesn't pay
that we
rent.
don't get.
Right.
Well, I go to Hallmark. We'll just start Shadmark.
Let's just start.
I think Kiana's gonna backhand you like one of these times. I'm just saying.
I'm gonna flick him out of the room.
Right. Speaking of Shad for a second, you kind of hated a little bit on the strategy from what we
Yeah.
saw starting in week 9.
You was
or,
mad
no, week
hating.
11, excuse
Yeah.
me, when the strategy kind of came up. And I know it had something to do because at that point in time, you know, you were feeling Audrey. And there was a point in time where it's like, well, you know, he doesn't know what's in my heart because he doesn't live there and he doesn't pay rent, like one of my favorite lines. But you were kind of hating. Now, do you regret kind of hating on the strategy? Because I feel like the strategy did have some play in you guys winning.
Yeah, so number one, like, I get it. The rent is really expensive these days. But if you can't afford to purchase, then you got to pay the rent, or I'm going to have to kick you out. But as far as the strategy goes, it was kind of edited in a way that made it look like I was really against what he was saying. But really, I just wanted to check what this strategy was. And even if you're the president of the United States, if you're Steve Jobs at Apple, it doesn't matter who you are. You're not just going to make a big decision without consulting with other people. So Keith said, hey, we have this great strategy, and everyone's going to follow what I'm going to say. And I said, great, he's a smart guy. I like Keith, but what is the strategy? And he kept saying, it's just crunching numbers. And I said, Keith, I got weeks that I'm just sitting in this house doing nothing. Just talk to me. I can understand what you're saying, and I'm just checking what you're saying. Not saying you're wrong. You could be the smartest guy in the world, but even Albert Einstein had people checking what he did.
Zoe, what is your take on what Shad is saying?
I mean, I totally get where he's coming from because Keith was very much not willing to explain what was going on, which I understood on his part because honestly, if he was explaining it to me, I'd have absolutely no fucking idea what he was saying. But that being said, I mean, Shad's a really smart guy. He understands numbers as well, and it's always good to have a second opinion. And, you know, like, maybe he could have seen something that Keith had missed. And it's like, I totally get that. But I also did very much trust in Keith's strategy, which worked out for us, obviously. But
So did Keith,
I get where he's coming from.
Did Keith eventually share exactly how he came up with the calculations and the statistics behind everything, or was it just like this is it? We're
Blind
just going to
trust.
go with
Was it a
Oh,
blind
sure.
trust thing?
it?
She really showed us. I mean, he couldn't explain it with the numbers. That was just a lot of calculations without pen and paper.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Right.
we sat down and we did from week to week. who sat with who for which beam nights, and then we sort of did process of elimination. So I think that once we got to see that, it really like set in stone that he knew what he was talking about, and I think that that made everyone trust in him a little bit more because we got to see it.
Got it.
And it was week 9 mainly that Keith would say, hey, we're going to do this, and the only explanation was, I'm just crunching numbers. And then once week 10, or the last week came around, then he really opened up and explained what exactly we're doing. And we kind of figured it out empirically. We all sat down and we went through each scenario. So it wasn't like it was rocket science.
Mm-hmm.
It was just going through the motions and going through each week. So everybody could technically understand it.
Mm-hmm.
And at the last week though, he definitely opened up to everybody and realized, hey, I'm not only playing with my own money, but I'm playing with all of our monies, and we have nothing to do in this house. We sit there all day and just start drama and chat. So now's the time to really explain what's going on, and he did that.
And I think too, like something needed to happen because, and we talked about this show. I mean, the whole season. I mean, you're talking about 12 episodes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you guys are, not having a perfect match up until last week, and then you basically, it just seems everybody you're throwing in, which I don't think were totally bad decisions. The people that you put in the truth booth,
They
was people that were,
Xing them out.
But it was just the fact that none of them were perfect matches.
Exactly.
And something needed to happen at this moment in time. Otherwise, you guys were not going to get it.
I mean, it's crazy too, and it's hard because if you take a look at the end results and whose matches were whose, at some of those matches, you're just like, what?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Does that really work?
Alexis
didn't,
and
talk to each other.
Tyler.
Yeah.
Which was the one? Was it Alexis?
He looks like
Yeah.
a Tyler.
Alexis and Anthony was just a scary notion, and then Gillette had to be the one
He
to
reminds
figure
me
out
of
if it's
last
going to be
season.
Clinton or
Yes.
money.
Yeah, he does.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Shannon's
So like the
ex.
people who were sitting with these people, like Zoe was sitting with E-Money, which could have been Gillette's person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would have been freaked out the whole time. And like you told us earlier,
Yeah.
this isn't quick for you guys. You guys are sitting there waiting for these results to come in with minutes to hours in between each beam, while we're here like scared and frantic at like 2
Right.
seconds in between each light that comes up.
I'm sitting there literally like, I think it was the 5? Because you guys never got past 5.
No,
No.
never.
So, and I love how they drew it out, like
Yeah,
the
so,
5
like,
beings
what's
to
gonna
get to
happen?
6, and then you guys get to 6. You're like, oh, and then it just starts boom, boom. How long were you guys sitting there?
Too long.
I want to know.
Some of the beams, it would literally be 15 minutes.
Yeah,
For another beam to pop.
There was one time that I literally fell asleep, and then Audrey had to like wake me up.
Stop
I'm like,
it.
yo,
Oh my
yo,
God.
what's up? Oak tree?
Alright.
Oak tree?
Yeah, he's doing too
No,
much
but
right now.
literally, it was 15 minutes on one of them.
No, like
It was-
honestly, I think the longest was like 5 minutes because 15
No.
minutes is a long time.
No.
That is a
That
long
is
ass
ass
since we've
time.
been on a
It was
date.
longer than 5 minutes. Zoe, can you back me up on that? There was one of them.
Zoe,
I
was
took
there
a
15
shower in
minutes?
15
Was there 15-minute beams?
For 15 minutes, but I could definitely vouch for probably like 5,
Yeah.
which is just
Okay.
enough that you're
In
like
his head, he felt like it was
Still,
stressed.
yeah.
In my head.
It felt like forever.
5
I mean,
is still
hell,
a long time.
5 minutes every single beam.
Yeah.
So
No, they'd
five,
switch it up. They'd
some
switch it up.
almost.
Oh, they would switch.
So
it
maybe the
up.
contrast made me think it was longer. Like some of them would go quicker.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
still, I wouldn't be
But
able
yeah.
to like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Was the from 5 to 6? Was that a long time?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It
That
might have
was
been that one.
Wait, so Zoe, like, did you ever think that you and Ethan could have ever been a match? Like, did that ever kind of cross your thoughts, or did you just never go there?
No, you see, like, I kind of had this open mind going into it, and I really thought at some point that, like, every single boy in the house was my match. It's like, I just saw so many good qualities in everyone that I was like, well, why not him? So Ethan was never, like, counted out, but I think that I just never really gave him a fair chance exactly because
Like no one
I
did.
talked to him, like, I talked to him very little. And I'm not blaming it on him at all because it was absolutely my fault too. But he was one of the people that kind of like segregated from the group. Like he was always outside rapping by the swamp. So I feel like I didn't really get a lot of
Rapping with
opportunities.
the alligators.
Rapping by the swamp.
Rapping
love
to the
that.
alley.
Just like by himself.
I
like,
feel it.
yeah,
So you
check
think
one, check
maybe if
two.
he like would have put himself out there more, like to talk to you, maybe, possibly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like a great guy. So I mean, once we really started talking about like the important things, not just like the surface things that we had going on in our lives, it was like it made more sense to me. It was like with our careers and everything, and it all kind of started to add up and make sense. And I was like, oh shit, like if only we talked about this stuff earlier, maybe we could have figured it out from like, I don't know, way sooner than the last week.
He was like super happy.
Yeah, can we talk about the end? Yeah. The end where he was like super happy that, you're his beautiful, perfect match. And then you just nicely put your hand on his shoulder like, yeah. So nice. Your curve game is stronger.
No, it was a girl. And shout out to Hennessy. I mentioned earlier at the top of the show, Hennessy's actually Sensei's dog that's almost asleep.
Oh, she's chilling.
Yeah, she is mad chilling. You gotta,
she's so comfy.
Zoe, when you see this back, you gotta check out.
Yeah, she's being so good.
Yeah, shout out to you with her Gucci little,
you know how to get my baby right. She's not.
Hi, Hennessy.
Hello.
She's like, what's happening?
She's like, I was so good. Like, why did you disturb me?
Sorry.
She's like,
but yes, as you guys can see, Gucci.
Yeah. There it is. Thanks, let's talk about this episode a little bit because there was some major stuff with Keith and Alexis.
Yes, you got
that was crazy.
World, earth turning.
That was wild.
Yeah. So, I mean, we get the edited version, obviously.
Oh my god, my smoke alarm is going off.
Oh, are you okay? Is somebody?
You all right? This is.
I burnt the pizza roll.
It just happened.
She burnt pizza roll.
It's awkward.
Everything's good. Everything's fine. Everything's fine.
It's okay. Nothing's on fire. I just want to make sure there's no fire.
Everything's fine.
Because otherwise, handle that.
Yes, because we don't need no more fire over here, girl. Okay.
All fire.
No more fire. We've had enough of that.
Yeah, exactly. So
Sensei's the only fire we need right now.
Exactly. But yeah, Keith and Alexis, that was obviously throughout the whole season, there's been tumultuous between them, but this just came to a crazy head.
I did not expect this.
In the fire with the little stuffed bunny.
No, I didn't expect her and Michael.
No.
Well, can you give us the behind the scenes?
Okay, I will give everyone a behind the scenes.
Tea, give it the tea.
Okay, everyone sip your tea. So basically, Michael told me that we had a private conversation after all of this went down, because I went up to him and I was like, dude, you really fucked up. Why'd you do what you did? You've put yourself in such bad situation. So he told me that after we split up, he made a bet with Alexis where if by week 10 they don't find their match and they're still in the house and single, they're gonna make out or kiss. It was just a kiss.
They had
told
way
me.
more
It was
than
just
that.
a kiss.
Right. They was grinding.
It was the last night in the house.
I was like, when's the wedding here?
They were
right.
shotgun beers and.
Yeah, shotgun
Wait,
beers
so
off
were
of the
Keith
chest.
and Michael friends?
Yes.
Nice. I enjoyed it.
Keith and Michael were friends.
That's why Michael was like, I'm not gonna tell him the truth because he's really drunk and he's gonna be mad now. We were all just like, dude, that's the worst thing to do. Even though he's drunk, still tell him the truth.
Is that why he was not trying to come clean? Because he really was not trying to tell the truth.
Oh yeah.
It was. Well, it was literally the last night. I think it was last night, right?
That's
second
crazy.
to last.
So I mean, I think maybe he just wanted to win the money and then deal with the stuff after
the fact.
But it came out and then we had to deal with it then. And thank God
he
we
must
still
have
won
been
money.
super drunk for that all to go down at that time, right?
There was basically a bodyguard just following Keith around to make sure that nothing.
That
was.
Are you
What they
serious?
didn't show.
Yeah.
What?
Because Keith actually is one of my favorites. I don't know. He reminds me of because I've always had these things. If I would date a white guy, it'd probably be a funny guy. I mean, I just. Hello. But no, Keith reminds me of those actors.
Chris Pratt.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? One of those college actors or whatever.
Yeah.
American
And
Pie.
for some reason, I just love those actors. I'm like, oh, they're just so cute. Keith is definitely one of my faves.
He's
for
definitely
sure.
a stickler.
He's a
So
stickler.
Definitely.
I call him that
Yes,
day
a
one. Yeah, he's
stickler.
like.
Definitely.
So he gives me that vibe.
Yeah.
So there's that automatic
Frat
oh,
boy,
okay,
yeah.
Exactly.
So he's always been one of my favorites. So I don't know, I felt so bad
Well,
for him.
I have his number, so I'll
Oh
give
no,
it to you
I'm
after the show.
I'm taken. But no, I really liked him and I feeled for him and I just
So literally, there was a bodyguard though,
Felt
just
bad.
making sure that he didn't
because
go
he
crazy.
was gonna literally rip Michael's head off. Michael had to stay
security.
100 feet.
Bodyguard sounds like too much.
Yeah,
No, I mean,
sorry,
I get it.
At that point, it was a bodyguard.
It was.
Pretty much.
You're right.
But,
Pretty much.
but they didn't show, like, it didn't look that bad
No,
from
it
what
was
they
really
showed.
bad.
It
Like
was
we
really
were
No,
all
I'm sure.
terrified. Like
Oh, wow.
What
We
sucks is
thought-
that like what escalated it was literally just that me and Keith were outside talking, and like if you heard our conversation, it was 100% like about strategy. We were talking about matches, and then I could see Alexis like through the window,
gosh.
and she looked pissed. I was like, oh God, like I can't have Keith all nervous right now because he needs to help me find my match and help all of us win money because we
Right.
suck.
Right.
And we just like want his head in the game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the
And
way,
then that happened. So
Yeah.
it just really sucked that it escalated out of like an absolutely like not a situation.
yeah,
So
And it had
rough.
to be the fucking
The last
second,
night.
the second to the last
Yeah.
night. Like,
Seriously.
what the
Last night
hell?
was,
like,
yesterday.
I think that was the last, wasn't it?
no.
Yeah, second
Yeah.
to last night.
Second.
But that was the end. It was
Right.
the end.
Regardless,
probably-
Yeah.
he needs to think about strategies. So
Right.
this is just
That was like
all.
probably out of all the nights in the house, that was like the most hectic, most drama, most crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And like you guys got to remember, there's 40-minute episodes and there's what 10 or 11 of them,
Right.
whereas there's a million
Oh my gosh.
cameras.
Right.
There's 22
Right.
people.
Get that.
filming
No,
it.
All
so
day
They had to cut it
filming.
down to a couple minutes, but it was a
course.
long night.
Wait,
my
so
God.
how much back and forth? I mean, we saw her favorite stuffed animal, his shoes,
Right.
her like boots
boots.
and
Yeah.
dress. Like, did it keep on going and going?
Punched the wall.
Yep.
It was wild.
the way he was looking at Michael when he asked was scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Just
why
the
they had
calmness
to bring
before the
security.
storm type situation, and just how he was looking, and not giving two.
Well, it's
fucks
just
about
fucked
anything
up. I
at
mean,
that
you wouldn't
point.
expect that she told him
Yeah,
that
no,
she
totally
loved
get it,
him,
yeah.
and then,
She does that.
oh girl.
And then it
totally
just
get it. I felt
also
bad for
made
him.
like
I did
especially at the
too.
matchup, it made your boy Michael look bad. Cause then he's hooked up with all
Terrence
like,
literally listed everyone. I was just
everyone,
like,
like the laundry list. I'm like, dang. And he's like, well,
Dang.
and it wasn't that says like you put it like that. Like, it just looks really bad. Like it looked
Yeah,
really
yeah,
bad. But I mean, you know, and I and I love how you're just like, yeah, hello.
I know. I love how you got the last
Yeah.
laugh. You were
Yeah,
just
I
like,
was like,
And
well-
like you basically made him apologize to you.
Oh, of course.
Like, made
of
him.
course, that was the whole game plan.
Yeah, that was it. That was it.
that's so
Look at her
funny.
smile though right now.
Yeah.
She's just
She's
so
feeling good.
Oh man! So
love being right.
when you get to, I want to go back to the matchup because that's obviously where it culminates. And so everybody, did you all have like? Does everybody know the game plan?
Yes.
What they're supposed to do? Because obviously this is girls' pick, so you know you guys, girls starting, and it starts with Jaless, and so she has to start off correct. Was anyone worried that she's gonna go rogue?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean,
Ooh.
I think
It was
Zoe
not
said it really
officially
good
a rogue.
in her one clip where she was like, if she doesn't pick Clinton, like we might just lose this.
Because it was
Oh
going
my
before
gosh.
between Clinton and Ethan.
Yeah.
yeah.
And so she had to, but she knew she had to pick Clinton.
Well,
See,
Zoe
I had no
did.
idea, 'cause,
You
like,
had no idea.
The night before, we all agreed. So I had no idea that Jaless was even between the two because we all agreed and we left that
Yeah.
like meeting
She
that
did.
we
She
all
was
know
like,
exactly who
yeah,
to pick. So I didn't even know until I just watched it right now.
That's so
Oh,
Yeah, but-
okay. Because
Because
Zoe would know better than I do.
Really between the two though. Like she had her mind set on Clinton for weeks. So I mean, I feel like it was just still in the back of her mind. Like if it could be one or the other, like that sucks that it's all on me. But I think that she knew really deep down that it was Clinton. 'Cause she said that to
Yeah.
me and she said it to other people 1,000 times.
that
So
makes sense.
it's like I feel like just her saying that at the last minute was really just because she was nervous that she was going to be wrong.
It's the pressure. I mean, the pressure when
yeah.
you
Huge
could be
pressure.
that one deciding factor out
Right.
of the whole thing.
Exactly.
That could be you that messes it up. You know what I mean?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Plus
So
all the
she does
drinking.
pick Clinton, and so then follows suit, and then it's Audrey. Of course, she picks Shad, and you weren't surprised because you guys had made. I wanted you
I
to talk
love
about
that.
the connection
here for
because
it.
in the last episode, like she was beaming, like you're spitting mad game, and she's just like, oh my gosh, I love you, da da da, and like you were the man for her because she needed you in that moment. Like what
Well,
made
it
you
felt
step up? Yeah.
genuine.
No, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm not
so-
hating. I just want you to tell us like what that was like.
So from the beginning, I kind of knew that Audrey was my match,
Okay.
and I didn't develop like. She's an amazing girl, but I didn't develop like feelings like, oh my god, I need to like date this girl from the beginning. And I think it's because like when I date a girl in real life, it's like I hang out with her for a couple hours, And then, I drop her off and don't see her for a few days. And I'm like, okay, I kind of miss her. I want to hang out with her again.
Oh.
Then you pick her up, you hang out for a few more hours, then you drop. So you start to miss the girl, and then before you know it, you're like, okay, I really like that girl. In this house, it was a little bit different. It's like you're with them, and then you're always with them. So you don't get time to develop feelings when they're not with you. So I kind of knew from the beginning, and that's why I picked Audrey 5 times, that she was my match. But I didn't necessarily develop those feelings where at the time I was like, okay, I need to be in a relationship with this girl. But I knew that she was my match. And that's why at the end when Keith was saying, hey, Shad, you don't have good reasons, it's like we just started doing strategy week 9, and I picked her 5 times. So I have good reasons. And a lot of people have better, like, explicit reasons that you say, hey, we both like dogs, hey, we both like ice cream. Those explicit reasons don't keep relationships together. It's the intangibles. It's the stuff that nobody else knows except for you. Because, like, my parents, they're completely opposites when it comes to a lot of things, but they're an extremely happy couple, and they've been together for a long time. So only I know who could be my match, and my actions from the beginning where I picked her 5 times, that should show it more than anything.
Well, and that's crazy because you guys were total opposites. I mean, she was a talker, and you just didn't talk. Like, you talked here and there, you know.
What we saw,
From what we saw. You know, I wish you actually would have spoke up more because, like, you here in person, you know, you're more wittier and more, you know.
Hallmark.
Oak tree. Really quick, Oak tree, because I must have been really tired last week.
No, explain it. I wasn't. I don't talk tree, so.
That was funny. I'm sorry. That was hilarious.
Yeah. So, if you guys know anything about trees, bless you. So if you know anything about trees, oak trees are extremely like stable. Their roots just go through concrete. If you're ever driving and you see the concrete up, oak trees are there. They can withstand hurricanes, everything. So they're consistent. And I said, girls, a lot of the times, they're a lot more emotional than guys are. So like in school, like we're taking finals and girls would like freak out. They have to eat sweets and like go to the library all day and they'd freak out. And they're watching Titanic. They're crying. The guy isn't crying.
I don't know what girls you're talking about, bro.
When a girl gets mad, she yells. And, like, girls are very emotional, and that's just inherently how they are. And they don't want a guy that's even more emotional than them. They don't want, like, a male girlfriend because they need somebody to bring them back. Like, if a girl's really sad, they need a guy to make them happier.
So you
and if
say
a girl's too cocky or happy, then you need to be in the middle and bring her down and humble her.
So that's where the oak tree comes in.
So the oak tree is stable. It's there. And I was comparing the girls to weather because like one day it's rainy, one day it's sunny, and the oak tree just sits there. And a girl wants a guy that's like consistent and is always there for them.
Okay, Shad's an oak tree, ladies and gentlemen. Shad's oak tree.
He is stable.
Stable. Zoe, was Ethan more of a weepy willow for you? Like, what was?
That's good.
You went next, and you picked Ethan.
You did your tree research, didn't you?
You had made it seemed like a connection towards the end. Like you were kind of like, oh, okay, I can see that. Were you confident in the decision with Ethan picking him?
Yeah, 100%. Like as soon as we started to talk about the things that like Shad said, not just like, oh, we both like ice cream. Once we started getting like deeper, it made a lot more sense. So I was totally confident in my decision.
Okay, dope. The next pairing, which was probably the weirdest of all of them, was Alexis and Anthony.
See, I have a question for everyone, though, because I feel like everyone thought that was the most random pairing. So if not them two, who would they have been with?
Oh, that's a good question.
Well, I'll let Keyana answer that, but I would think, literally, forget that out of all the matches, out of any 2 people, probably the people that interacted the least.
Yeah,
out of any combination, any permutation,
were those two,
I think. But I'll let Keyana answer.
Yeah.
She thinks
No,
Anthony
actually,
would be the match.
that makes a lot of sense because I couldn't really like match-wise see them with anybody else. So it does make sense that they're a match, but like.
Yeah.
Like they were saying, like they never talked once in the house.
Wow.
They probably said hi to each other on the first day, and that's just about it.
I wonder if it was just the you know how like they were the cast people or whatnot, and they're matching, like, oh, we have a leftover couple. You know what? They're the match.
No, I've actually said that
That's
before.
what it feels like. It feels like they were the leftovers. They're like, you're great for TV, and so are you. So there you go.
Yeah, maybe they were like the ones to like trick you guys, or they were like the random. What are they called? Wild card.
Wild card. Yeah.
I'm curious to think, and I'm just glad it worked out. Hallelujah. But I'm just wondering if, let's say Alexis was like Keith was still on the table, or someone else that she was like, interested in or involved in.
I could have seen Malcolm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
if she would have went with the strategy of picking Anthony or followed her heart, basically. Like, I mean, you guys know her better than we do. Do you think that that could have been a factor, or do you think that she would have went with Anthony because that's what everybody was wanting to happen?
I think after their conversation, because they went and talked for like an hour, and they didn't show it really. I think after their conversation, like Alexis came out and she's like, "Oh my God, like I see it, like I definitely."
So she knew she
it.
found some ways, yeah.
Yeah, so I think from there it was like 50%. Oh, all these people want me to pick him, but 50% I really actually feel like he could be my match.
And I wonder if this is the opposite track situation where she's like the firecracker, you know what I mean, and he's a little bit more calm or whatnot.
Sure.
And he could, he could handle her situation.
I don't even know.
I don't know.
And,
so
and
random.
with that, well, two things. One is, while like I was a huge believer in the matchmakers, end of the day, it is pen and paper and talking versus. So you could make a mistake. That is a possibility, and also. You were asking like, hey, are people going to go with the strategy or are they going to go with the heart?
Yeah.
Everybody was saying play with your heart from the beginning, but that last matchup ceremony, everybody was on board with the strategy. There was no
nothing had it was.
Like, it's you sit with them for 30 minutes. It's like if you can't sit with somebody for 30 minutes to get $1 million and then hang out with whoever you want to 30 minutes later, like there's something wrong with
come
you.
on,
like,
like get your life. So yeah, I think Hennessy's having some
sorry, she has some gas issues.
Hennessy's up
I was watching the show and I was like, damn, Hennessy, like.
Keyana blaming it on Hennessy.
Oh my God, sorry.
That's messed up. You better give that hug right now.
She real comfy, clearly. She real comfy over there.
Speaking of Keyana, we've already talked that she knew her match from day one, and it was Michael. Was there like knowing? I mean, I said it a billion times, but you're like, oh, I told you, I know.
Yeah.
But when you like, did he finally like kind of see it? Like, because initially when they showed the playback, he was kind of like,
he's getting stronger.
Who fed him Chipotle? Someone gave him Chipotle.
And she's literally like I'm not tripping. Did he like see it though? Like, because initially, it seemed like he was dismissing you, almost like, hey, I think this is going too fast or what have you. Let's see other people and kind of see what goes with that, as opposed to like you were kind of confident in him.
So like. Day one when we were talking, I know a lot of the things that they showed were surface level conversations, but we talked about real life stuff, which they didn't show, like family and like what we both want and what we both need. So from day one, we both literally looked at each other and we're like, wow, like we need to get into the truth booth. Like we even said it like in the pool, like we need to get into the truth booth and figure this out because we both really believe like we don't even have to talk to anyone else and we already know that we could be a match.
Right.
So obviously, like, feelings got, like, brought in, which is never really a good thing. But I think, honestly, I mean, I can't speak for him. He's not here. But I think, honestly, the reason why he didn't want to go into the truth booth and why he dismissed me and broke up with me and ended things was because he didn't want to leave week 2 or week 3. Really? And he wanted to stay in the house and have fun because he always kept saying, like, I came here for the experience. So if he would have left like week 2 or week 3, I mean, I definitely would have understood too. But at the same time, like we would have been a match and we would have been helping the whole entire house.
It would have been a bit different situation.
Exactly, and that's what I was thinking of it as. He was thinking it as, oh, I don't want to leave because the party's here, and if I leave with you, I'm going to be stuck with you for however many weeks we're
and
gone.
I've seen that in other seasons where there's been couples that are like,
that leave
I like
right
you,
away.
but I want to stay here because it's cracking.
No,
and
for sure.
No, I get that, especially so early. So
let me check my other options.
Right.
Yeah, and he sure did check them, honey.
But
Checking them out.
my thing is, let's say you guys didn't win and you all were a match and could have helped. That would have been.
That would have been
a terrible. Thank you. That would have been a different situation. So we have Nerys ended up with Dimitri, Olivia, and Malcolm. We had Kareem and Didi.
I like that.
Joe and Uche.
I like that.
Yeah,
Which
too.
you like that?
Yeah.
We saw for the past couple episodes where that could have happened.
Sure. And then we had Jada and Keith, which
that's another
I didn't see it at first, but then when like I saw, when Jada was speaking, like she's like, I the type of person I am, and she's like, no shade, to Alexis, but I think I'm the type of person that could work well. And then I was like, okay, I could see it.
Yeah, exactly.
I could see it. I
think we all see that one. And the Uche and Joe, I think Uche is like one of the few people that I could see as a match with anybody. She's like a very nice person and pretty gregarious. Like, interacts well with everybody. So I think we all could see that at the end too.
Yeah.
Word. So you're waiting for the beams, and
Dying. I'm so
yeah,
sorry.
dying. Beams come up, and then get past the first hump, which is the 5. You're in 6. You're 7. You know when you get 10, you know it's a wrap because 10 has to make 11, and then you guys are all celebrating. Of these matches, just curious before we wrap, which do you think is the one that made the least sense out of all the perfect matches?
Yeah, you guys, we talked about it before, but Alexis and Anthony, I don't think they said one word to each other, and I think they're the only 2 people not to talk the entire time. I think I can't say
I agree with that 100%.
Yeah,
me too.
I could kind of see even the weird ones that we talked about before, where there could be some sort of a match or some sort of way. Alexis and Anthony is just off the spectrum for me, like with how they got together.
Okay. And they're both amazing people. They're dope people, but they just didn't talk all the time.
Yeah.
So weird. They didn't gravitate towards each other at all.
What were you saying?
Beyond like, not talking to each other, it's just like knowing Alexis and knowing Anthony. Like Anthony's a party animal. He's drunk constantly. Like
maybe that's it.
That's what I said earlier.
That's everybody mostly.
I don't know that that's something that Alexis would necessarily need in her life. I don't know that Anthony would make her better, and vice versa. I honestly feel like they'd probably be really bad for each other because they're both similar in that way. So I don't know. It just didn't really make sense to me. I was like. Yeah, they didn't talk, but probably for good reason.
Yeah, so they both just made really good TV and had to throw them in there.
Yeah, there it is.
2 wrongs don't make it right.
Zoe, what's up? Did you ever try to explore anything with
E-Money?
With E-Money?
No, she curved me.
Man.
Do you mean like in the house or like after the show?
I'm talking about like whenever.
Like, no, I mean, me and Ethan, I hate to be like, oh, we're just really good friends.
There we go.
Yeah.
But no, like we are. And I hate to say it, but honestly, like when I was in the house, I wasn't really feeling that sort of connection with like anyone really. It's like I didn't want to date anyone from the show. I loved all of them. And like I think that they're all going to be some of my best friends for like the rest of my life. But it wasn't Ethan. It wasn't any of them. It was just none of them, I don't think, were for me exactly. So no shade to Ethan. I love him so much, but
I'm sure
we
Ethan has
are not.
Right, I'm sure.
Ethan has
matches
bitches.
in his DMs.
But Shad, what about you? I mean, because we only really seen you talking to Audrey the whole time. Like, was there any other potentials that you thought could have been your match?
So the other ones that I said throughout the season, I said Zoe, she's a beautiful girl. She's really fun to hang out with. I said Nicole, we had great conversations. And I said Nerys, because she just had my back since day one, and I really like how like protective she is of her guy.
Yeah.
But ultimately, Audrey was the only one I could see myself with in a sustainable relationship.
Got it.
And I'm not there to find a month fling. I'm not there to find a friend. I'm there to find the one. So she's the only one that I saw the potential to be with in the long term, and that's why I knew it was her.
You have so many quotable moments in this little...
We'll get sound bites. Keyana, what about you and Michael?
What about it?
Okay, well that answers that.
Next
Ladies and gentlemen, that's been our show.
Just the way you said it, though.
What
about you and Michael?
What about it? I mean, nothing?
We're friends.
We're
I
friends.
mean,
Okay.
that's all.
And same with you and Audrey.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not saying that till the reunion. If I'm with Audrey right now, because I don't post much on social media, then I am an extremely lucky guy. And if I'm not with her, then, you know, I care about her. So if she's going to be with someone else,
there it is.
Then I just want her to be happy. So you'll find out on the reunion.
Speaking of, the reunion is next week.
So we gonna be there.
Yeah, and we're going to be covering it, and we'll have more guests. But, ladies and gentlemen, that's been our show today.
Yes.
So happy. I'm so excited. Give it up for our guests. And season 6 in the books. Yes, and shout out to Hennessy and his gas. I've been your host, Lem Gonsalves.
No more
you can
Chipotle.
find me always at the Poet Saint all day, every day. Sensei, where you at?
You guys know where to follow me at Sensei Don't Play everywhere.
You guys already know, Melody_Rose.
Hey, it's your boy Nino. You can catch me at Nino Llanera on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
And Zoe, where can the fans find you?
Zoe in Wonderland on Instagram and on Twitter.
Dope. Shad.
Awesome.
And you actually have a TEDx talk coming up.
Yeah, so I have an Instagram, Dave_Shad, but I don't want you guys to follow me for me. I want you guys to follow me because I have something coming up. It's a big moment, and it's really going to help our environment, and it's going to help people around the world, and it's going to help people save money. So follow me for that, not for me.
Word. All right, stay tuned. Keyana, where are you at?
Keyana Land on everything.
Keyana Land on everything. Yes! Give it up one more time for our guest. Season 6, they got money, they got paper, we need a loan. Until next week, we're going to cover the reunion, but we'll see you. Peace, Uncle Lem.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.